Hi everyone, Brenda Gustin here, and we're on week 6, microbial nutrition and growth. Now, I might have told you this before that this is the first time I'm teaching the online lecture, and sometimes when you're designing a course for the first time, it's also the first time I've used this textbook. So sometimes when you're designing a course for the first time, it's hard to know how long it's going to take to get through the material for each section. So you will notice that this title says Microbial Nutrition and Growth Part 1, because what we're going to do is we'll do Part 2 during week 7. Now, what I was doing is that as I was putting it together, I realized you have a lab practical, you have a lab, and it was just too much lecture material to finish this week. So I'm changing up the syllabus a little bit. So what I want you to do, so we're on microbial nutrition and growth part 1. Let me get me out of the way. I updated the syllabus because we're going to do microbial nutrition and growth part 2 next week. It's going to affect every week for the rest of the semester. So I updated the syllabus. What I recommend that you do is print the last 2 pages of this updated syllabus and replace the pages in your current syllabus. Now, hopefully you are using your syllabus on a regular basis. I use it all the time to make sure I have all the assignments assigned, I have the number of points right, I'm on the right topic, I'm on the right week. So if you're not using the syllabus, you might find you will feel a little more organized if you did. So here's the link, open this up, print the last 2 pages. Everything else is the same. And all I've changed is week 6 on. So just the schedule part is what you need. So do that. Then the next thing I want you to do is take the lab practical. The lab practical, it requires respondus. So if you want to practice respondus again, you can go back to, I think it's in week 4. Let's see. Respondus practice. That's still there. You can do that as many times as you want, okay? So you can go back to week 4, make sure Respondus works for you. If you've changed anything, if you change your computer or anything, if you're confident everything stayed the same, you don't need to do that. But remember, this lab practical will use Respondus, so you can't use your lab book. You actually have to study for this. It covers the concepts presented in labs for week 1, 3, 4, and 5. Recall, we did not have a new lab in week 2. We combined week 1 and 2. So these 4 labs are covered in the lab practical this week. That lab practical, we're in week 6 right now. So week 6 lab material, which is below, is not on this week's lab practical. Okay, so weeks 1, 3, 4, and 5. And here it has photos related to lab. It has some multiple choice. It has some short answers. You go study your lab handouts and look at the concepts that I have in there. You don't need to study anything but your completed lab handouts. Everything should be there. It's worth 40 points and you have an hour to take it. Okay, you can't use any other resources other than just your brain. There you go. Notice here it says there's several questions that need to be graded by your instructor, me. So the short answer questions aren't automatically graded, or the fill in the blank or whatever they are. They're not automatically graded. I have to grade those. So it will post a grade right away, but it won't have those in it. So your grade will be lower immediately after you take it than it will after I grade it. I do the grading on Mondays. Remember, the due date will be Sunday at 11:59 p.m. I come to work on Mondays. I teach a microbiology class, and after that, I go right to starting to grade. So hopefully these will be done Monday morning, okay, after the due date. So you can look at it again and see how your grade is. But study for this. This is, it's not just stuff you would know. You got to go study that lab material. Okay, then we have a lecture study guide, same thing, but it's called Microbial Nutrition and Growth Part 1 because, like I said, we're doing Part 2 next week. So do that. I made it a little bit shorter than I usually make them just because we have so much other stuff, particularly in lab this week. There's a lecture assignment, one of those adaptive learning ones. There's a lab handout using culture media to grow bacteria. And within that lab handout, there's only an adaptive learning question thing from the textbook. And there are no virtual labs. So with the lab handout this week, there's no more lab assignments or virtual labs for this week, just this one. And that's going to be worth 5 points. And then once you've filled out the lab handout, you can use it to take this lab quiz, which is also worth 5 points. Okay. Oops, there's the lecture videos. I guess I'll move them up a little bit. They're down a little too low. I'll move those up, get them in the right place. You can use those to practice or to review or to help you out filling out the lab handout. Let's see, there we go, lecture assignment. I'm going to move it up one more right there. And so you can see on here that I have section 6.1, 6.2 in two parts, just so they aren't too long. I threw in this osmosis video because osmosis is hard for some people, and it's a really important concept. And so I do explain it in the lecture video, but this is just a separate one that I do just on osmosis, and I do it a little bit different way. So if you need a little extra osmosis help, there's one right there. Okay, good luck this week. It's always nice to talk to you guys. Definitely drop me an email if there's anything you want me to know. Good luck this week. Take care.